Hello and thanks for watching this Cloud9 ERP Solutions video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the Accounts Payable Clerk Dashboard and how it can help you make better decisions or know what work needs to get done. So as we're looking at the AP Clerk Dashboard, and this is a dashboard, as time goes on, Acumatica continues to give us out-of-the-box dashboards that are useful that we don't have to create from scratch. So the AP Clerk Dashboard's been with us for several years. But when we're looking at this, you could see, for example, documents on hold. Now, we really can't close out our month or our year without taking care of some of these things. And documents on hold is just one example. When we click on it, it's going to show us any AP documents that are still on hold, which means why were they created and why did we stop short of releasing them? Maybe we're waiting on some questions to be answered. Maybe we created it thinking we needed it, and now we don't. But either way, we need to either complete this, remove the hold and release it, or delete it. So for example, this document, if I delete it and I go back and I refresh, I only have 615 documents on hold. But you'll want to go through and navigate this and get these documents to the surface and understand whether or not you're going to complete them or remove them. Unreleased documents is similar. This is unreleased documents in prior months. So when we take a look, this is also on hold and their prior periods, so 12/2022. And if you want to understand what makes up this list, you can click on Design and click the pencil and look and see either it's a shared filter from our generic inquiry. In this case, this generic inquiry has no shared filters. This is just a drill down. But if we go back, it's either one of these shared filters or it's filter settings. And in this case, it's a date less than the month start, meaning anything that's not in this current month. So that could be helpful also. In this case, it's also showing our documents that are on hold, but if it wasn't released, then that's also a condition. And just to be clear, we're getting our filter condition for the date from the widget right here. But the fact that it's unreleased, we're getting it from the GI. So somewhere in the GI, if we take a look at the conditions, it's factoring in the status of the document, and that's how we're getting that. So it's a combination of the two that gives us this filter. But let's say, for example, we know that we have some bills that are due in just a few days. Maybe we want to create a widget for that. So we can do that, and we can do that in this very same dashboard. To get started, we want to make sure we know that we have data out there. So we're going to create a widget in a moment, but prior to that, let's make sure that we can see where the data is coming from. So we're looking for bills that will be due in maybe 7 days. So we'll go over to Payables. We'll open up Bills and Adjustments. And we can see all of our bills here. Now, our status needs to be open, of course. We don't care about on hold because if it's on hold, that means it's not really due, technically. Even though it's got a due date in the past, because it's on hold, we haven't committed to that bill. So we really don't want to think about that. So we're looking for bills that are open. And if we scroll over to the right, we're hoping that we see a due date there. We don't. Let's check our column configurator and see if we can find the due date. There it is. We'll move it over. And if we scroll over to the right, we can see a due date of 2/4/2023. That's great. So let's create a new bill that will have a due date within the next 7 days. This way, it's tangible to our discussion. We'll give it a vendor invoice number, select our vendor. We'll give it a line item. We're not going to pick an inventory ID or non-stock or anything like that. We're just going to put in an amount, and we'll pick some sort of account, maybe advertising, and we'll remove the hold and release it. So in my system, I have project accounting turned on, and my project accounting has an account group that's keeping a watchful eye on advertising. Therefore, I either need to pick a project or I can pick no project with the X. So we'll click release here. And I missed it, but I still can change it. I'm going to change my due date here to January 7th. We'll save that. And now again, if we go back, we have another bill which has a due date within the next 7 days. Now we can do one of two things. We can create a filter right from here. There are no shared filters. We would create a shared filter here, or we can do everything in the widget. So let's go over and let's create a new widget. We'll click on design, click add new widget. This will be a KPI. We just want a count of it. And we'll pick bills and adjustments. Again, we don't have a shared filter, but we're going to click on filter settings. And this will allow us to choose fields to filter on that are part of that generic inquiry. So in general, if you have anything that you want to filter on and you don't see the field here, then you need to go and modify your bills and adjustments generic inquiry and add that new column so that you can use it here. So in this case, we want a type that's equal to bill. That's one thing we need. We also need a status that's equal to open. Open indicates that it's not paid yet, or it's got some sort of balance on it. And what we want here is a due date, which is less than or equal to today plus 7 days. So what this will do is it'll take January 5th, that's today, it'll go ahead 12 days, and it'll take anything back from that date that's due, and it'll show it to us. Now, of course, this is a sales demo, and there's a lot of unpaid bills. So what we're going to get is everything that's due from the 12th all the way through the past. So we may get a lot here. If you wanted to shorten this, for example, we could put an or condition here and say, yeah, but if it was due as of December 1 of last month, then that's okay too. We're all right with that. We don't want to go back to history. But essentially, if we click OK here, we can then decide, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to aggregate the amount? We can add the total amount so we can see how much is due. We can pick our total count. So if that's the case, then we can aggregate the reference number that's unique, and we can do a count instead. So if we wanted to do the count of documents, bills that are due, we can do reference number and count all. But if we want the total amount, then we'd pick amount and sum. And then we could pick different levels here for normal and alarm, so we could change the color. But this also helps to put a little meaning to if we decide to use a meter. The meter will work better if there's numbers that it can scale between. But we'll leave it as a scorecard, and we'll click finish. And when we take a look at it, you can see it's, again, 24 million. And I'm going to move this up here, and I'll click design. So now we've added this. If we click on it, what you'll see here is all of our bills. It's a drill down of the bills and adjustments from our filter in the widget. And if we click over here, you can see that it's showing things that are due within the next 7 days. But again, it's also showing things back from a long time ago, 2022 and beyond. So that's why you're getting all of these. So that's our accounts payable dashboard. It helps us make better decisions. We showed how we can add a new widget. You could see PO receipts to bill, bills to pay, cash outflow for the next 7 days. So these are all useful things that you can do, but you can also add what you need to make this accounts payable clerk dashboard more useful for you. Thanks so much for watching this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions about this or anything else Acumatica, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, and have a great day.